Ben Youngs, England's most capped man in the history of the game of rugby union. You have some big news today.
I do, Coley. It is time, mate. It is time for me to finish up. At the end of this season, I will be calling time on my professional rugby career. Who knows? I might have the odd amateur game. We might have a couple of reunions to play. But in terms of the professional, I'm calling time on my rugby career. It's been amazing. I'm sure we'll touch on some of the bits, but full of contentment, and it feels right. The time is right for me now to finish at the end of the season, mate, and close that chapter.
I mean, we've just finished Easter. Have you eaten too many eggs and you're regretting it, or is this a decision that's been in the process of thinking about, or what's Ben?
No, this decision has been. I thought about it for a long time. Like, you never want to do what we've done, Coley, to play for your country, Lions, Leicester, to run out at weekends and get that experience and enjoy that atmosphere, the crowd, and everything comes with being a professional rugby player. To be in amongst great friends and colleagues and everyone chasing goals and all these amazing things that you get to do as a rugby player. You know, it's not something that you just wake up one morning and go, no, I'm done. This has taken a lot of time to really mull over and think about. And, you know, there was last year, at the end of last season, I actually considered maybe that was the time then. There's obviously some changes that happened, and, you know, Czech kind of brought my love back to it a little bit in terms of the playing part and the training part and all those bits, because Saturday's the best day of the week. But the days in between is when the older you get, the harder they become. But for me, no, it's not something I've rushed into. It's something that I've considered for a long time. And, you know, so many players say, and so many sports individuals say they know when you know. And they're right. You just do. You just do. You can try and kid yourself. You can try and convince yourself. But when it's a consistent feeling, you know that it's the right time to call time.
So slightly selfishly, does this mean that I'm going to miss out on a concert in Paris? As that's what we've been teasing on the pod for the past few weeks.
That is exactly what we've been teasing. And it is, in fact, Coley, you will be missing out on free tickets. However, we can always get the Eurostar, mate. We can go together. We can get tickets. But no, it's not happening. I think with the Racing stuff and other clubs, people sort of, you go to the club and people ask you, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's like, you know, I think as rugby players, when anyone contracts up, you always get interests from elsewhere, from other teams that are intrigued to know whether you're available and everything like that. But for me, I'm very proud of the fact that I've been a one club man. My dad obviously played for Leicester Tigers. My brother played for Leicester Tigers, and now I have. And to think that we've sort of done that, and, you know, Leicester's been the only club I've ever played for. I'm very proud of that fact. You know, there's a fair few that have done that, Coley. I think Leicester's one of those clubs that seems to produce a lot of those guys that once you're there, you know, it's an impossible place to leave in many ways, in my opinion. One, because it's the club I grew up obviously watching and supporting, and two, the atmosphere that you get, like the ability to play in front of that many people every other week, and the passion they have, and the city's passion for sport, but equally Leicester Tigers, is phenomenal. And even when it's been a couple of seasons where it's been really difficult and we haven't been where we want to be, it's still, they turn up week in, week out, cheer you on, and, you know, running out to smoke under the water through the Crumbie stand is unique and awesome. So Leicester's always been one club man for me, and I'm very proud that I can now call time on it, knowing that was the club I played for.
I do agree with you in the fact I think we are spoilt in our Leicester careers, and probably not underappreciated, but playing in front of 20,000 people every week, it's not a normal thing, especially in rugby union. And I think that's Leicester, the strength of its support and the support and the fan base is fantastic. And yeah, almost in some regards, I'm sort of glad. I'm not glad COVID happened, but actually playing that period without crowds, it made you realise how important crowds are and how lucky we are to play in front of crowds. So I think that actually probably was a bit of a humbling moment. Well, you didn't want to happen, but after the back of it, you realise how special the job and the club we've played for is.
During that period, Coley, someone actually asked me, they were like, if you could have done all you've done in our playing careers at that point, but you'll do it behind closed doors your whole career, would you still be a professional rugby player? And I don't think I would have been. That's how important the fans are, and the atmosphere and the buzz that you get, the adrenaline. You know, when you're in a game and it's tight and maybe you're just behind, but the crowd get involved and you're pounding the line, trying to find an opportunity to score, and the noise and how much involvement they are, and you know, their passion and enthusiasm for the game oozes out of them, and it's infectious to you as a player. So have played at a club that's steeped in history, that's had so many incredible, iconic players, either English players or people that have signed from the other side of the world because they know Leicester Tigers and they know what this club is, to be a part of that history is something, like I say, I'm extremely proud of. And I think, like I say, with the whole retirement thing, the biggest word I can use, Cole, is contentment. I'm extremely content with walking away at the end of the season and being really content with what I've done on the field, off the field, and what I've done as being a teammate.
You say what you've done as a teammate, Ben. I think we should be the judge of that. But
it depends who you're asking, I guess.
What's your approach to the end of the season now? Obviously, there are 4 potentially more Premiership games left. Are you extra desperate to win? Are you just going to mail it in? Just let the listeners know what your approach is to these final few games.
I think the one thing that will never go is how competitive you are, regardless. You know, whether you are at the latter end of my career now, you know, about to finish, or you're a young kid when I first rocked up, and you know, you're competing to try and get just an involvement. So, you know, I'm still incredibly competitive, and I have every part of me that wants to rock up every day and help this team go and do something at the end of the season. And I think, you know, some people will be like, oh, is it going to be emotional like these last few games? Like, maybe, I don't know. You know, I don't know until I'm put in that situation, but I'll just attack it like I have every other game. Like, this for me is a chance to, you know, it's like that. Are you running or you're racing? You know, I want to break the tape. So if you're running through the tape, I want to break it. And that's what I mean by that. It's like, I'm not going to stodge my way to the last game. Like, I'm here to win, to be part of a team that wants to win. And I've got a play and a responsibility to fulfill my role within that. Now, have I got extra motivation? Potentially, but I feel just as motivated as I was when I was 21, 24, 28, 32 to go and win, because you care about the team, I care about the club, and I want the club to be successful. Does everyone get the finish they want? Absolutely not. So you're gonna have to earn it, and that's what I'll have to do. So yeah, in short, Coley, my mindset is to be part of a team and add value until the last day I'm needed at the club, and that is to add value in terms of trying to bring a winning mindset and a winning culture.
I mean, Leicester's final game is the final league game is at home against Newcastle at Matty Elliot's Welfare Road. So that could be a special day for you and your family. But then I guess it's slightly weird knowing that we could be in the top 4 the week after. So it's which could be home or away. And then, you know, hopefully it would be a nice thing for your club career to finish at Twickenham. But yeah, I guess it's a bit strange in some regards thinking about the end of the season, but you don't actually know when the season ends.
You can control what you can control, can't you? So I'm sure there'll be a bucket load of family members that will want to come up on that last weekend, and sort of the you know, so many people have been there from the start of my career and are still there now, and they will be, you know, but you know, everyone has so many people to thank, and I do too, but there'll be plenty of faces that want to probably see that final game. But you're right, it's hard to know. It's not like you know, with the playoffs and everything like that, you never really know when your last game is, but that potentially could be the last home game for me, and you know, I'll be sure to enjoy it for the right reasons, you know, and it's a chance to probably, you know, play and you want to perform, but equally you want to thank everyone at the end and wave off the fans and sort of say thanks for the support and the good times, because you know, all the memories and all the great wins you have, it's, you know, I think of like the Claremont away we won a couple of years ago, just for instance, springs to mind. Like, you know, I remember the little pocket of Tigers fans at the end, you know, that's pretty wicked. So, yeah, it'll be I'm glad that it's at home. I'm glad the last game is at home, Coley, yeah, if that's what you mean.
Well, Ben, as you are a legend in the game, of rugby from internationally and the club world, I sensed that you may have been potentially retiring. So I did some work for the past few months. I've gone out of my comfort zone, had to talk to some people. But I've actually got 15 messages to play to you. I asked for more, but Toby Flood didn't respond on 0777 777 777. So we've had to make do with some other people. But if you'd like to pick a number between 1 and 15, and I will play you, I've got a message behind every number. So if you want to pick one, please go now.
This is exciting, mate. Number 13, please, Coley.
Sup, boy? Hey, Ben, mate. I hear you hanging up the boots, cuz. Don't do it. Nah, I just want to send a massive congratulations on your rugby career, mate. As a fellow Nine and a huge supporter of all Nines in our game, you're an absolute legend as a halfback, and what you've done at club, international level, all the trophies you won with Leicester, and then obviously being the most capped England player, massive effort. And then also what you did in the Lions jersey, mate. So you should be extremely proud. Can also see you're a proud family man, great father and husband. So keep it up, brother. Keep doing what you're doing in the internet and social media space. And yeah, but nothing but love, mate. Congratulations, and hopefully see you around soon, my mate. Cheers.
Lovely. The legend, Aaron Smith. That's very nice, Coley. You really did go out of your way, mate. That is hugely impressive. And it looks very warm and lovely in Japan, where Aaron is obviously currently playing. So I appreciate that, Aaron. Thank you, mate.
He was all right at 9 in his time. Was he one of the best Nines you ever played against?
Yes, mate. When I think of the best Nines I've played against, Aaron Smith, absolutely. Will Genia, absolutely. And Anton Dupont. You know, those guys, you constantly held them in such regard that you just knew you had to be at your best to play against them because they are that good. So, yeah, no, incredible Nine, Aaron Smith, like one of the best passers of the game. Like, brought so much energy around the ruck, mate. But equally, like with that is, mate, his ability to snipe and see a gap, boom, big step, speed, mate, hell of a player. So yeah, him, Aaron Smith, Will Genia, and Dupont for me are the three Nines that I loved trying to compete against, and you always felt like you had to raise to their level.
The company you keep says a lot about you. Say for Aaron Smith, who is obviously one of the best Nines you played against, one of the best Nines in world rugby. And you mentioned Genia, and I think you can definitely consider yourself to be in that top three of great Nines of history, but also that era. And I say it was big era for us, and say the game in general. I think the three of you were the battles you had, especially in those autumn internationals and stuff like that, were phenomenal. I think it was worth the admission price of the game alone. And I'm actually quite glad you mentioned Will Genia. You also mentioned Dupont, but obviously somewhere along the lines, my French knowledge of hello, lick my arse hasn't worked. So Dupont didn't get back to me, but Big Willie G did. So we'll roll the tape.
Ben, mate, just want to say congratulations on what's been an outstanding career. Definitely one of my favourite halfbacks of all time. I think one of the best of all time. Such a amazing combination of skill, finesse, athleticism, and just all-round ability. And I love playing against you. I love watching you play. Definitely one of my favourites of all time, bro. So I just want to say congratulations on what's been an unreal career, and I wish you all the best in whatever you have moving forward, bro.
Lovely, mate. Again, what a guy. And you get to know these guys, mate. Like you do. You play against them. And Coley, you know what it's like. Well, maybe you sort of go and meet the opposition props, but you get to know them really well, mate. And so much respect for both those guys. And yeah, it's like humbling, to hear from those blokes that you have competed against for years, and huge respect the other way. So yeah, I guess I'm the first one to call time on that sort of, I suppose, generation of Nines. Those boys are killing it in Japan, mate, and they can probably play for another 5 years.
Big Will Genia has praised your athleticism there, mate, and he's ripped.
I did pick up
strong,
on that,
and he's an athlete himself, mate. So game obviously recognises game.
Yeah, I think he was probably alluding to when I played my test rugby. I was maybe leaner, quicker, slightly different shape than what I am now, Coley. But I'm glad you picked up on that. I took it as he was referring to my Test career, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just glad he recognises your athleticism, mate. It's just nice, especially coming from a bloke like that. How have the last few months for you been? You obviously said about speaking about the your decision and your thought process, and you even said about sort of 12 months ago was thinking about it. Have you, I know you sort of come to the final conclusion now, but has your mind changed at all? Have you toed and froed, or have you been pretty set in what you thought was going to happen?
No, I've been set, mate, and it's the right time also for the family to head back to where home is for me and my wife, Charlotte. You know, and my kids, they've only ever known Leicester. So for them, it's kind of, me and my wife are heading home to Norfolk, where we know it to be home. For them, it's totally new. So it's just the time's right. Like for everything, you know, I've got outside interests outside interests that I have in rugby, away from the game that I'm keen to explore and do now. Obviously, the podcast is one of them, still involved with the game, but not having to bash each other up. So, it just, everything sort of was aligned, and it was just the right time, mate. And, you know, I think so much is sacrificed for us to do what we do, Coley, that at some point that can't go on forever. And I think that sometimes you feel incredibly selfish as an athlete, as a sports player, because you're away so much and can't plan anything, and everything revolves around your schedule. Like everything revolves around what your availability is in your schedule. So I'm looking forward to having some flexibility, some freedom, getting weekends and being able to do things with the kids and plan things and everything like that. So there wasn't a time really, mate, where I thought, okay, I'm going to change my mind or anything like that. There just wasn't. I think potentially if Michael Checker stayed, I think if he'd stayed beyond this year, then maybe he might have been able to convince me. But my mind was pretty clear at the start of this season that this would be my last. The hardest thing really, mate, and you know this more than anyone, is going to be the daily interactions that you have with great friends. And also that, will I have anything outside? Will I come across anything later on after rugby about being in a group that's so obsessed about getting better each day and so obsessed about trying to win things? And I'm not sure I'll have that environment ever again, because I'm just not sure if businesses work like that. I'm not sure they have that desire, that honest conversations daily, that demand with each other, those tough conversations where you're telling each other, your mates, you know, you're telling your mate that you need more from him and he's not pulling his weight and he's not doing his thing, you know, all those sort of things that come with it. I think I'll kind of miss that, to compete and have that common goal of everyone going after it. But I tell you what I won't miss, Coley. I will not miss putting on contact shields and contact suits and chop tackling and getting bashed about on a Tuesday.
You not excited to leave behind the rugby playing diet?
The one that I stick to really, really religiously.
Mate, again, you just praised your athleticism, so you're obviously doing something right.
Well, there's a bet. We've got a bit of a bet, haven't we? Me, you, and Andre Pollard. Like, you boys maybe reckon it'll take no time for me to get over 100 clicks, but I'm not. There's no way I can do that. I can't allow myself to. I can't remember
how much money's riding on this, but I might take you away to an all-you-can-eat buffet. If there's enough riding on it, I'm gonna have a for the love of rugby weekend away, an all-you-can-eat buffet somewhere, maybe in France with lots of cheese, and I'm gonna magically we'll go away for a weekend. We'll go watch like Toulouse play. We'll get DuPont to do a message. We'll finally get him, and we'll do a weekend of like cheese eating, wine drinking, and then just before we're about to fly home, I'll whap out the scales that I've brought with me, and then I'll get my money back. So, yeah, it's happening, Ben.
It's happening. But no, Coley, I'm not we're so used to doing things a certain way, mate, that I'm looking forward to something completely fresh. And I know you players get daunted, and I've spoke to so many players, and I've seen players that have retired, and they're almost terrified of what's going to happen next. They're almost like they don't want it to end, but I honestly, I'm excited about what's next. I am. Like, I'm genuinely excited about what's next. And of course, I'm going to miss aspects of what I've done. But mate, the next bit, I'm ready for the next bit. And why can't the next bit be great and fun and enjoyable? And and so many other things. So yeah, like I say, I don't feel daunted by it. I actually feel excited by it, and yeah, it's going to be a refreshing start to what I do next.
Have you actually spoke to many former retired rugby players about your decision, or is it sort of, have you say, oh, how do I put it? Have you gone out your way to speak to them, or have you just sort of had it in conversation and sort of it comes up about retirement and, you know, they've sort of given you advice or anything like that? Have you actively seeked it out, or have you sort of like just you use what they say to sort of fit the fact that you'll be all right post-retirement?
A bit of both, mate. Like I've spoke to certain lads and kind of asked them, and, you know, I like Tom Croft, obviously. Crofty, you know, he's been retired now for a number of years, and his was forced upon through injury. And you speak to him, and, you know, he enjoys, you know, he's fine. He's enjoying life. He's got freedom and flexibility, enjoys his weekends. Like he's absolutely fine. You know, I spoke to Tatey the other week, Matt Tate, who actually maybe when he first retired struggled a little bit and was very open to me about that. But now is, you know, again, like the next chapter, and he's all good and he's flying. So happy days. My brother, of course, I was just really honest with him and where I was at, and, you know, and he was very honest to me. You know, he said the same. He doesn't miss it. He genuinely he doesn't miss playing. He certainly doesn't miss training, but he doesn't miss playing. He just misses the boys and that group of unfiltered banter, that sort of camaraderie and all that stuff that comes with being a rugby player. But the rest of it, he doesn't miss at all. So, you know, I think you speak to a certain group and your mates, and, you know, they're all pretty aligned with, you know, if they don't necessarily accept it and get there straight away, it isn't long until they do accept it, and, you know, life goes on. So yeah, I've had some good sounding boards, mate. But, you know, I think when I come into the start of the season and knowing what I want to set out and achieve and do, I was very clear about that. I felt like that it was always going to be this last year, and I would have someone would have had to really, really convince me otherwise to do longer.
Right, Ben, I've got some more messages to play you. So can you give me 3 numbers, not including 13?
1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
All right, Lendrid, Lendog, Lendizzle, Lenny. So you've decided to pack it in. About fucking time, mate. Sorry, you've been dragging this shit out for fucking ages. Mental. Incredible career, but give it up, will you?
Love it. I love it.
Lenny boy, congratulations, boy, on a hell of a career. Honestly, mate, it's been a privilege to have played alongside you. I think the majority of my caps, you've been there with me. So thank you for that. It's been a pleasure to play against you. I'm sure the family are very, very proud of what you achieved, and I'm sure that record's going to last for a long, long time. But mate, enjoy the rest of the season, and I'll be sure to catch up with you soon. See you later, my man.
Cheers, Nowell.
Hey, Len. Congrats on an amazing career, mate. Thanks for all the memories, and you're not quite done yet, mate.
Mate, come if you're listening to this on audio, you need to watch it on YouTube, because you need to see the angle that George Martin's video is. What's happened to his head?
I don't know. It looks like an aubergine, mate. Like this
in many ways.
Really
Thank
big
you, George,
beard
for the
chin.
Yeah, thanks, George, for the kind words. However, I'd have loved it if that was just a selfie. If he didn't say anything, it was just a picture. Oh, I love it.
Hi, Ben. Marler walking, mate. It must be. I think that's the first time I've ever seen him move. That's not in a car.
Well, he's obviously got to the stage, mate, where post-retirement has got him, and now he's at a stage where he's probably got a watch that basically beeps at him if he hasn't done his 10,000 steps.
Ben, does this mean that we can turn the rest of our tour into the Ben Youngs retirement tour?
Yeah, it does, actually. We can definitely turn it into the Ben Youngs retirement live tour. Why not?
Well, we are in Bristol tomorrow night, then Bath, Northampton and Leicester. So, you know, if you are a Tigers fan and you want to say goodbye to Ben, come to Leicester on the 12th of May. If you're a Northampton fan or a Bath fan and you might like to heckle Ben or be nice, alternatively, head to the link in the episode description and you can sort out some booing. But maybe, I'm just thinking, put this out to the crowd, the THBs of the world, especially at Leicester, maybe they should get some signs in the crowd. Something like, Ben Voyage, it's Ben Emotional, thanks for the Beneries, or Forever Youngs, something like that.
Mind you, you'd actually probably block the view of someone behind you, actually, so I'm not sure it's going to work, actually. It's a nice idea. It's a nice idea.
I just think that like blocking the person's view, like the next 10 rows behind you can't see a thing because you've got a big Ben Young sign, but we'll find a way.
Coley, the good thing about the live show as well is they're not actually going on audio, are they? And they're not going on YouTube, which means we can tell some stories that we've told on the podcast before but never made the actual edit.
Well, that's half the podcast, really, isn't it? When we speak.
The link's in the episode description, so check it out if you want to join. But Coley, I'm enjoying these little video messages, mate, so have I got to pick another number? Another 2, another 3? I don't even know how many's left.
3, please.
3, please. Okay, 4, 5, 6.
The great Ben Youngs, this is your captain speaking. From all those years ago with the A-team, when you were a spotty teenager spewing into a black bag on the bus, the team, you know the word. And to watch your career has been quite phenomenal, to have played a small part when you were a young man and played with you and your partner in crime, your podcast partner in crime, Dan Cole as well, and to see how you're transitioning out of the game is been great. But your career speaks for itself. It doesn't need me to say that. You're going to be getting loads of these messages and there's going to be days and weeks and months and years of reflection. So I just wanted to say well done, mate, on what you've done. It's been quite phenomenal if you were to actually break it down. For me, the memories that stick out is you and your brother doing it together, playing for England, singing the anthem and playing for the Lions, and 2 Leicester legends which will go down, or who will go down, your family, the family name will go down in rugby folklore. But to do that with your brother, I can't imagine how that's felt, and the ups and downs and the stories and the journey that you've both been on together has just been quite amazing to watch and to follow. And as I say, I feel extremely honoured to have been part of some of that and to stay connected with you, Youngsy, and to watch your career and the transition that you've been going through over the last few months into the podcasting world, which is the world in which I'm in now, and to be able to share them stories and advice and stuff like that has been great. And I hope the live show at Clapham went well with you and Coley. I would have loved to have seen you walk out on stage and you see and feel the love of the people, and that's because of the rugby career and that's because of what you've done on and off the field. So, mate, good luck with what's next. We'll connect soon. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the last few weeks as a professional rugby player, and welcome to the other side. It's not all bad, it's different, but fuck, we love a moan on this side, and passing judgment is easier than being judged. We'll see you soon, mate.
Big Jimbo, A-League legend, mate. No, thanks, Jim. Jim's been awesome, actually, Cole, as well. When we launched the pod, Matt, I went and caught up with him, and he was so generous with his time giving advice. So he is someone that we knew very well when we started our journey into Leicester. So thanks, Jimbo. Much appreciated, mate, and I look forward to catching up soon.
I love Big Jim, but the way he kind of made out that he had to wait for his rugby career to end to start moaning differs to my memory. Anyway.
Lenny, almost time to say what an incredible career. A few games left, maybe a cheeky show and go to finish it off. There'll be loads of messages saying how proud and honoured people were to play alongside you. I was one, but you made the game so much more enjoyable and easier for all of us. And even when things got tough, you even attempted to make a tackle. You have gilded a long thread of world-class scrum halves to play here at Welford Road, and with your family legacy of over 690 games and counting, starting with your dad Nick, your brother, and now you, I don't believe a family has given more to this club. There's no pressure on Boris. I would say look forward to your retirement, but we all know where that body weight is heading. But welcome to the old boys club. I look forward to having a few beers and we can reminisce, and those gems of your career will only get better with age. Congrats, mate. You've absolutely smashed it.
Oh, thanks, Crofty. Crofty is one of my bestest mates. So, yeah, absolute legend. And he's been so supportive throughout my career and been there. Someone I've done so much with, seen me at my highest highs and lowest lows. Like, awesome friend.
Pele, Eddie here. Hey, listen, mate, with Benny Youngs, he was one of the best halfbacks I coached. Good team man, great competitor, and particularly loved beating Australia. So it was a real joy to coach him. I always remember, watching him at the World Cup, I thought he was a little bit too fat. So we had a bit of a lolly exchange to start off with, and his commitment to be at his best was always fantastic. So, Benny, I know in retirement you'll enjoy life, mate. But it was a pleasure to coach you, mate. Cheers.
Eddie's just always on the move, isn't he? I love it. Kind words from Eddie, but I love how he's just like, is he going out the fire exit, going down the hallway? Like, what's he up to?
Yeah, he replaced sirens in Tone's retirement video with the sound of the fire escapes in yours.
Oh, so good. Well, Eddie, to be fair, Eddie was, I always felt like within that team that we had, Coley, sort of 16 to 19, was some of the most enjoyable games, experiences, being a part of a team that went on a great winning streak, that had great victories and results. He's right. I love playing against Australia. Like, I love the England-Australia rivalry, and that was awesome. And I think as he mentioned, he loved the fact that I loved it. But yes, thanks, Eddie. Appreciate that.
That's actually a very nice segue to my next line of questioning. What were your favourite games? Is there a favourite game you have in your memory? Or was there a favourite series of games that you played in?
Do you know what, Cole, it's really difficult to answer this. I get asked this quite a bit if I do any speaking, and I've got moments and certain games. I think of Australia 2010, that autumn game that we played, Cole. I think we played like a blue kit, and Ashley scored that length of the field. That was like my second game at Twickenham, which was huge. I think playing alongside my brother for the first time in an England shirt and knowing his transition from 12, moving to hooker, having to almost start again in a new role, and then to see him get to that level, that took so much commitment and sort of bloody mindedness to do that, and doing that alongside him, playing for the Lions. It's so difficult to nail sort of 2015 against France. That game's one of my favourites. I think beating Ireland away in 2019. It's so difficult. New Zealand semi-final, of course. In short, that I can't really give you one. I know I've listed some there, mate, but in theory, like, there is so many great memories that outweigh any sort of bad experiences as such, Of course, we've had some tough results in huge games, the World Cup 2019 being one. Watching you boys in 23 and being part of that squad, but not the match day 23, but watching you guys come so close and the team nearly doing a job. There's been some tough results, but equally there's been some amazing ones. And I'm just proud that I was able to contribute to a team that was successful in large parts.
Your favourite try that you scored?
Favourite try for England would be, I don't know, mate. Like,
you've scored so many, Ben.
No, it's not that. It's just more probably any against the Aussies, mate. I love the England-Australia rivalry. I generally do. So maybe that one. 2019, the try that wasn't a try. When I thought I'd scored, Coley, and we'd made a bigger gap against New Zealand, but got called back. But I think there's a couple against the French. I don't know, mate. Like, scoring is just, it's great when you score, but it's not really why I played the game, was not to score. I loved actually trying to assist. And if I created an opportunity for someone else to score or create a gap and made other people get in behind the line and stuff, I actually took more pleasure in that than I did actually scoring myself. I think the dummy on Nick Phibbs was satisfying, though. I suppose that one was quite nice.
I think my favourite try of yours, Ben, is going back a few years, but it was actually England Australia in Sydney.
Through the line out.
I was actually at the back of that line out. And you took the ball for line out. Dummeed went through a massive hole, and I was still at the back of the line out when you scored, so it was quite nice.
Yeah, God, Coley, where the hell does time go, mate? But yeah, that was a nice moment. Nice moment for sure. For Leicester, I think it's more like some of the tries I scored from quick taps and things like that. And we got asked the other day, didn't we, Coley, about someone asked us, and why is your running game, and when you first came on, you ran so much, and as we're sort of explaining, weren't we, how defenses have changed. They've got way more organised than when we first started, and people become more aware of what your game is, and they try and shut that down. And also the game sort of changed in tactically as well, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that's kind of helped me is the ability to sort of go with the trends of the game. I've always loved running. I've always loved taking on defenders and tapping and doing all those, but you've also have to change with the game as such. So I think some of those early tries though are probably my fondest.
I was thinking of a nice word to say about you, Ben. Not had to work hard, but I think what the listener probably doesn't understand is, yes, they'll see the numbers of seeing as most cap man, playing career you had and the effect you've had, but it's the sort of the ability to be good from your England debut in 2010 and to be picked, not regularly, but starting in so many games all the way up to 13 years later and be part of that team, a couple of injuries and stuff, but you're never out the team. But you think how much the game has changed. If you go back and watch a game from like 2010 and then watch a game in 2023, and they're totally different games. I think like your ability to, as a player, adapt, as you said, you came on the scene, it was run. Then next year or whatever it was, after sort of 10, 20 caps, teams go, this guy's really dangerous, we're going to shut him down and stop. And then you evolve with the kicking game, and then like, the fact that you've got the ability to blend both. And then again, when the game evolves from open defences to, there was a period, wasn't there, when literally the game just became defence fest and kick, but your ability to kick and understand the tactics of a game and the tempo of a game and stuff like that. And it's like people probably don't appreciate enough, because I say there's lots of people who have opinions, but when you sit back and you actually look at it and you go, the effort and dedication that it takes to be not one of the best, but the best 9, best player in any position, but like the best 9 for one of England's best players for 13 years, and to be selected not just by one coach but multiple coaches, and be in successful teams and be with a guy as well that I reckon you speak to a load of the guys in those teams and they'd want you in their side. I think that's a testament to you, and I think your ability as a rugby player to do that, evolution of your game, evolution of how the game is done, but being at the forefront of that all the time. Say some people are hot for a couple of years when the game's a run fest, others are hot when it's a kick fest, but your ability to transcend those like variances in the game, and every day, you turn up and train and get better, and comes training, and people don't see that behind the door, behind the scenes, and like the teams we've been in, the England teams, the ability, especially one of those leaders in those England teams, less teams as well, but like the England teams, especially the Eddie Jones era, one of the driving forces. We talk about Fords, Farrells and stuff, but like you were one of those guys in those rooms pushing the team on, pushing the yes, tactically, but also physically and emotionally in the team. So people don't see that, and I think that's something that I will always appreciate from your career, as you being part of my career and being in those teams where, I say, you weren't just in the teams, you were actively pushing them forward and making them better. And from your efforts, we all had greater success, especially I was in teams that great teams, but it's those people in them, and I think you were one of those guys, and say you've made my career better, and I've achieved more in my career having you in the team. And yes, we play different positions, different backs, but I fully appreciate your knowledge of the game, your friendship. I think we've been to 4 World Cups together, Lions, etc. We've spent some time together, and yeah, I say I fully appreciate the contribution you've had on my career as in a winning things level, in a rugby kind of level, but also I say the appreciation you've had my career as being a mate and a friend. Yes, we've got the podcast now, but I say we've probably spent, I've known you for probably 20 years now. And yes, I was friends with your brother, and we've been in the same circles, but, I think as we've got older, I definitely feel that we've got closer, and I think we've shared experiences with families and everything like that. And I say it's, I'm just really, I find it a bit patronising when people say they're proud of you, but, I am, and I think I'm glad that I have been able to be on your coattails as some of the success and the teams you've been in with Leicester and England and stuff like that, and playing with guys like you yourself. When you look at the end of your career, you appreciate, I think, the people you played with and the people that made the teams that you're in better, and you certainly did that for me. So thank you, Ben.
Coley, honestly, thanks, mate. It means the world. Really does. It's been an absolute pleasure. Right,
I have one final clip to play you, Ben. You don't pick a number now. You get in the clip.
Here we go.
Well, mate, the end is done. New chapter begins, eh? What a career, mate. You've been unbelievable. Not just playing, just a great squad player, an unbelievable brother to me. Your balance of knowing the game is unbelievable, second to none. But also your balance of knowing what to say in a group of players, knowing when to have a laugh, knowing when to be serious, knowing when to pull rank on it, knowing when things aren't good enough. So, congratulations. All I can say is, mate, it's been an honour and a privilege to watch you all these years, and I'll miss it. I'll miss you not being running around at Leicester Tigers anymore, or but there we go. As I say, the end is near. Come back to Norfolk. You are not coming anywhere near that. No way you're coming anywhere near my tractor. You can find something else to do, quite frankly. I love you dearly. I don't love you that much. That is clear. Glad I got that out there. But I look forward to having you home. I look forward to enjoying some beers. I look forward to rattling on about old stories, what we used to do. And yeah, well done, mate. Awesome. Go well.
No, lovely. Like, obviously, mine and Tom's relationship's been in the people are fully aware of how close we are as brothers. So, that's one thing I am looking forward to. Is it was so strange that when he almost left Leicester, I had him every day. I was seeing him every day, and I've seen him every day my whole life until he moved back. And so now being able to live down the road from him again, and I look forward to having not one beer but a fair few with him. So been awesome. And Tom paved the way for me, really, Coley. Tom was the first to leave here and join the academy, and that's what got me. And I was like, I want to do what he's doing. And for so long, he's paved the way for me and been an amazing, amazing brother, but an amazing sounding board, because he's honest, and that's what you want. And he'll tell you straight between the eyes whether you like it or not. And I've always appreciated it. So to do what we've done together has been awesome, and he's been so important, so incredibly important, as my wife has Charlotte, to achieving what I have done.
Do you have a list of people you'd like to thank? I mean, as you sort of go through your career, it's probably an incredibly long list, but as this is your podcast, please feel free to use the platform to thank them.
No, of course, thanks. I think first of all, my parents. My mum and dad have been. I got into rugby because I wanted to get in rugby, because I enjoyed it and I picked up a ball and I liked it. I was never pushed to do it. But then when I found a love for it and I wanted to pursue it, they would trek me around here, there, and everywhere, and do everything they can to fulfill that enjoyment that I got from it. So they've been huge. A huge extension of family. They've been amazing. Guys like James Knight, my cousin Monty Moore, like those two brilliant sounding boards for me. Again, Naito is someone that's been class. Marnie Lulu. Basically, she's been my main kit beneficiary my entire career. So she's got a shed load of stash. There's so many to thank. Mike Bush, my first coach. There's loads, Coley. There is, and I've missed out loads. Of course, my wife, my kids, without doubt, my brother. And my teammates, like everyone I've played with, Coley, Crofty, yourself, Matty Smith, your Taties, your Ed Slaters, Matty Tamu, who's obviously back in Australia. All these great guys that, we've got to know and play with. Georgie Ford, playing under Owen Farrell as captain was awesome. One of the best captains I've ever played under. There's just so many to thank, mate, that I simply couldn't do it all. But I guess the biggest thing I can say about rugby and what it's given me, and as I look to ending, is probably the fact that whether you do it professionally or you do it grassroots, you meet characters and you meet fantastic people. And what this game's allowed me to do is travel, but it's allowed me to meet people from all over the world. And I could land in Cape Town and meet up with 5 or 6 players that I've played either with or against, and they'd come and meet you for a beer. You could go to Joburg, and then you could fly up to or fly across, rather. You could go to Australia and do the same thing. New Zealand, Fiji, Tonga, Samoa. You can land in America, you know, and Bowman, you'd see Chris. Like, you could just anywhere, mate. Ireland, doesn't matter where you've been. Like, we've made friends and played with players all over the world. And how cool's that? You share a common bond, and it's pretty wicked that the people that I've met and the friendships and the bonds, and you can pretty much go to most places in the world and there'll be someone that you probably played with or against and you could share and have a good time with.
I say rugby opens so many doors to friendship and people, you know, more than we probably ever have appreciated possible. But yeah, no, I'd like to thank you, Ben, for all you've done. And I think there's a lot of people out there would also like to thank you. I think the joy you have brought to people's lives, even if it's just for 80 minutes on a Saturday. I think there's a lot of people, you know, love watching rugby, and I think just the ability for, you know, watching England or Leicester or the teams you've played in win, and you've obviously been massive parts of those. I think you've brought a lot of joy to rugby, and I think you've been, you know, overall a real positive for the game. You still are with the podcast, but yeah, I think you know, you've been one of the great guys of rugby, and that's credit to you and your family and all the people around you. You've been a massive part of probably more people's lives than you think. So I'll say thank you on their behalf, Ben.
Thank you, mate, and thank you to all the fans. England fans, Leicester fans, anyone out there. It's always appreciated. And yeah, life goes on, and I'm ready for the next bit.
Before we go, there are a few bits of admin. The 2025 draft episode is out on Thursday. It was recorded live last week at the Clapham Grand. It was a fantastic night. And if people want to see or hear England's most capped man step out of his comfort zone, they should probably watch it, shouldn't they?
Oh, it was awful. I don't want to talk about it.
However, this weekend, England, the Red Roses, are trying to win the Women's Six Nations. So Shauna, Maud and Sadia are here on Wednesday with their latest episode with all the insider knowledge around what's happening in the game.
And if you haven't listened to our recent episode with John Mitchell, it is an absolute cracker. So I encourage people to listen to that. It's probably one of my favourites we've ever done, Coley. I loved it.
I think that's everything, Ben.
Coley, thanks for your kind words, mate. It's always weird when people are speaking about you so kindly, but I do really appreciate it.